My hubris. Hopefully the last autosave wasn't too far back. The autosave seems decent, but not spectacular. So we shall see. Wah, 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 wah. Goodness gracious. Yeah, if you play this, put it on an SSD. The loading times are brutal. Absolutely brutal. Okay. Okay, cool. It saved, auto-saved right after I finished talking with Meliulis. Very good, very good. Yeah, let it finish loading. None of the objects have loaded in yet. Come on. Here, I'll just leave. No? They're not gonna load in?
Still here.
Alright, okay, I'll leave. I don't want to, like, piss off the golden rule, goblins. I do want to go back and get all those denarii, though. And I will not jump this time. Because it did not work. Give me those. Give me these. Whee! Okay, now I want to go down to the farm. Will you talk to me yet, Livia?
Just as but it does.
No.
The new.
You still don't like me much? Oh, people are partying out here. Here, let's talk to Rufius. Is he the one harassing our boy? You the one threatening Virgil?
No idea what you're talking about.
Fair enough.
See you around.
Alright, let's ask this guy about running for governor.
Salve again,
Or magistrate.
friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them?
Magic. You'd never believe me if I told you.
Oh, come on. I just did as you asked. The least you can do is level with me. I'll keep it between us. I promise.
Alright. I'm reliving the same day over and over again.
You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name?
Ow?
Sisyphus. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the one. Old King Sisyphus.
How so?
Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But, on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were. Anyway,
Hooray!
I don't know which god you managed to
Haha.
upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what.
As long
I'll
as
keep doing
Karen isn't the
whatever I can to
boatman.
help you, and you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
What a nice guy. You're a good man, Galerius.
That's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
I like him.
Salve again, my Sisyphean friend. Now,
Ever thought about running for magistrate yourself?
I've bounced the idea around once or twice, mainly as a way of getting Dooley set free. God knows Sentius is never going to do it. But from what I hear, Malleolus has the election stitched up. Nobody's going to take him on and win. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, he talks a lot about freedom, so I'm hoping if he's elected, he'll release Dooley from his cell. And that's good enough for me.
I guess we'll have to wait and see whether Malleolus frees him or not.
I suppose you're right.
Alright.
All right, friend.
I don't have enough votes to swing to make him have a
Vote
good
for
shot.
Malleolus for a free drink at my tavern.
Yeah, I can. I have 3 last bottle of wine in the city. Okay, I have 4 now. 500! Holy shit! I have so many leads now. Look at all this shit. Where's Equitea? Here you are.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Okay, let's talk about the pattern. Some people mentioned an encounter with a stranger on the riverbank.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. What else?
I mean, we already talked about these ones.
There are definitely
Or
some.
maybe I should tell her all those. I haven't told her in these cycle, I guess.
Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind.
Memory lab.
What else? Yeah,
Point.
it's as I've. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I.
Yes.
Because
Okay, we went through this. Meet you in the
don't follow
bonds.
so closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Oh, whoa. Why not? Oh yeah, I did this last time, but we couldn't go to the bathhouse because I hadn't dealt with the assassin yet. Right. Blah. Loading. Dude, the Karen, Charon thing is so clever to me. We made it. Now what?
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it. Only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H.
Yo, let's go.
As in, Charon.
That's so clever, dude.
Dead. Charon, who in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx.
I love that.
River
That's so
separates the
clever.
land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same.
Oh, that's so clever, dude.
But on the bright side,
I really
you're
like
still
that.
Stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
I'm dead as fuck, boy.
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
Lore explosion. So we're dead?
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
What can you tell me about Karen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead, meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Why didn't you all recognize Charon immediately?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress.
Okay.
But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort.
Love you
and their
too.
name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Why are there so few people in the underworld?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
Were you trying to keep this from me?
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help, I promise you.
That's all the questions
Now
I
that we
had.
know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength.
Cowed.
Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Can't we just escape the way we came in?
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
I've noticed you seem uncomfortable calling the god of the underworld by his name. Why is that?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Tell me more about confronting Pluto head on.
Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Rude. Hercules couldn't manipulate time or turn organic matter into gold.
Are you telling me that you can? I
Hell
won't
yeah,
pretend to
brother.
understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base.
Mm-hmm.
It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
What can you tell me about the obelisk?
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago.
I thought it looked
Seems
Egyptian.
one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Where'd I find the Roman plaque?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to
I'm getting
ask
so many new
who
leads.
defaced
Oh
the
my
obelisk
god.
in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
What about the Greek
I
plaque?
don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius.
I like
His store is in the
Georgius.
forum.
What about the Egyptian plaque?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
What about the mystery
I'm
plaque?
afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps finding the other three will illuminate the way.
Tell me more about escaping with the help of Proserpina or a
As I
guide.
mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
That's horrible.
It is. The gods are a mirror image of mankind, as far as cruelty is concerned, I'm afraid. If the stories are true, I imagine she's as desperate to escape as we are. If she really did help Orpheus and Sisyphus, perhaps she'll help us too. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
I hear the female statues whispering to me every now and then.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then
Yeah,
again,
'cause it's creepy.
I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
It's always the same voice, and she's helpful if a little cryptic.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
Perhaps. She said, wade against the current, and her tears run through the city, and she weeps where the water flows.
That
Aqueduct?
is strange. There are no rivers here. Let me think on that.
Perhaps I need to get into the upper cistern.
Right, because the current flows into the city through the aqueduct and into the upper cistern. I vaguely recall wondering what was in there, but the door at the back of the great temple is locked up tight. You might be able to get a key from the magistrate, but if that doesn't work, perhaps you can find another way in. Let me know if you find anything in there.
Cool. I'm ready to get started.
I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone. In any case,
Go with
time
Livia
is of the
first.
essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Whew! That's a lot of new lore. That's a lot of new stuff. Wait, I want to start the election though. I want to see what happens.
Ave again.
Do I have more here? No.
Maybe
No. Election.
Ave. It'll be. Why do? As
Dark.
I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk, but I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good
I just want to see what happens. Holding it early may prevent conflict between the voters.
Yes, I have overheard some rather unpleasant arguments. The last thing we need here is additional conflict. Very well. I'll get things started right away.
Hell yeah, okay. I want to see what happens. I want to know if someone is going to break the golden rule if it doesn't go well. Loading. Whoa, she opened the door so we gotta watch it load. Hacker. Hacker did.
Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Can I hear you? I guess so. Let's see what happens. Here, I'm gonna save. Now nothing can go wrong. Where are we going? Here? No? Oh, probably to the amphitheater, huh? Hi, Dooley. You don't get a vote, I bet. I guess. Ooh, $1,000 dues. Holy shit. We're loaded.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and Marcus Malleolus Gurges. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Malleolus.
Dacius.
Malleolus.
Galerius.
I abstain. I'm just here to observe.
Virgil.
Malleolus.
Rufius.
Malleolus.
And finally,
God damn, he gets...
Malleolus.
Cynthius gets crushed.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate
One vote.
is Marcus Malleolus Gurges.
Hail, Magistrate Malleolus. I said, hail, Magistrate Malleolus.
Woo!
That's more like it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden. For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more. The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For
his attempt to deceive us all.
Oh, Jesus.
Is hereby found guilty of treason against the Empire.
What? I have committed no crimes. This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius.
Oh my God.
And now for your entertainment.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait, I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us all.
Lies! It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is, a children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
This is why he's in his gladiator gear. They've been planning this all along.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer. For
Here
the
we go.
sins of the one.
That didn't go well. Excuse me, can I get in here? $4,000? Holy shit. We're loaded. Thanks, Cinchus. Alright, well, Malleolus winning the election does not end well. I didn't expect much, but holy fuck.